Hey, hi, hello, it's Jesse LaSala Show, episode 94. My guest today is Mr. Reuben Edmunds. He is from Australia, and that's about all I can say about him. Reuben, how say you?
Oh, I'm good, mate. How are you?
See, you said mate, and earlier I texted you mate. How does that make you feel?
Uh, I like it. I got a few friends here, and you being one of them, but a couple others that have really embraced the mate. And I think it's kind of like y'all. Like I started saying y'all when I fully moved here, and that's a very good word. It's very concise and inclusive and all that kind of stuff. In Australia, we use so like do you apostrophe, no, probably not apostrophe, but us. So the plural of you is
Like
use. So
you,
you got
you
use,
always.
yeah, use guys want to go get a beer. You want to do this, whatever. So it's very similar, but I think y'all is just. I mean, it's especially with the World Cup going on right now. I'm seeing people all over the world using y'all, and it's I consider mate the same way. It's mate is buddy, in Canada is buddy. Here, bro. Um, so mate to me is it might come from the British colonies and Australia, but I don't think I don't anyone can use mate.
Right.
That's my take.
And I think anyone can use bro because just like you said it, bro, you added an apostrophe R at the end. I don't know if you noticed. You were like, bro.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, funny story. Growing up, American culture was really ramping up in the late night. Well, it's always been there, right? But you know, growing up, American culture was influencing a lot of young Australian guys and girls. And I remember coming or referencing a bro or what's up, bro, but in an Australian accent. And then my old man, my dad, like making fun of us. He's like, "Oh, bro," because he was from the previous generation that while definitely influenced by American culture, probably more than just the movies and the music, maybe in some literature. He hadn't, that generation hadn't started talking like Americans yet, and so thanks to MTV or whatever, a lot of Australians have started adopting. We're losing some of our language a little bit. Well, I say losing, it's changing. It's probably been happening since the dawn of time. For example, slab of beer is 24 beers, and I'm seeing on
Wow.
social media. Yeah, well, it's a case of beers over here, but I'm seeing Australians more often than not saying, "Oh, grab a case," and it's like, okay, it's changing slowly. Words change. I mean, this has been happening forever, but it does feel as an, I mean, I know the Cajuns around here feel the same way. That your culture changes over time, depending on a myriad of factors.
I like a slap of beer because if you drink,
Slab.
oh, a slack. Okay, okay.
No, no, no. SLAB, a slab,
Oh, a
almost like a slab
slab.
of
Okay, okay,
concrete.
okay. Got you. Okay, well, my
Yeah.
point remains the same. If you get hit with a slab of beer, you're gonna feel it,
Yeah.
Just like a
Yeah,
slap
you're gonna
of
feel it if you
beer.
drink 24 of them.
Yeah. All right, so what is your drink of choice now that you're in the America? I mean, are you one of those Foster's for me, that's it? Or is that the biggest fucking stereotype along with Outback
It's
Steakhouse?
it's a gross stereotype. Foster's, the parent company, I think it's CUB, it might be owned by somebody else now, but a lot of those beers, well, Foster's in particular, was the export beer. But and there were some people in Australia that drank it, but in my lifetime, it was not drunk. Maybe ironically, but no.
What's the equivalent to American beer?
So domestic brands available in Australia, and mind you, I've been gone sort of 10, 15 years now. But there's up north in Queensland, there's Forex. Down in where I'm from, Carlton Draft and Victoria Bitter, Melbourne Bitter. These are all little, little breweries. Well, they were little at one point, and they grew. And there's other ones. Tui's new. Cooper's is another great one from South Australia. You can actually find that here at World Market. And in fact, it's cheaper with the currency conversion, taxes, everything. It's cheaper to buy a 6-pack of Coopers at World Market in Lafayette than it is for me to buy it when I go back home.
That's insane. All right.
That's,
I get it. It's
it's
sort
the
of like
Australian government. They like to tax all the fun stuff. So yeah, 2 packs of smokes. I mean, I don't even know what the last time I was home. It was like nearly
but
$90.
if you were to equate a Foster's while you're in Australia,
Yeah.
what would it be at a bar in Lafayette, Louisiana?
The flavor profile or price wise or
Yeah, just like price and flavor.
yeah, the availability. Yeah. So, very, very similar. I would say like my mates back home will reach for a Carlton draft after a Victoria bitter. It's kind of like reaching for a Budweiser or a Miller Lite,
Yeah.
Australians, we have a few light beers, but in Australia, light beer is light in. Now let me screw this up because light beer over here is light on calories, but I think in Australia it's a light taste. I'm not sure if the calories really change that much, or it might be light
Light on
ABV.
alcohol percentage?
Yeah, maybe so. Actually, no, I think it is. It's light on alcohol content. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, yeah. And in fact, we even have mid-strength beers, and they're marketed to Australians. So they're not light and they're not full strength or a heavy beer. They're mid-strength, and the reason why that is that the drink driving laws in Australia are so intense, or for lack of a better word, for some people that's a very, very good thing. But so Australians know that you can have 2 mid-strength beers in the first hour and then 1 mid-strength beer every hour, and you'll be under the limit.
Wow. They really
So
lay it out for you like that. Like it's so known that, hey, look, everyone's gonna
yeah,
drink and
yeah,
drive, so let's just get it right. Over here, it's
that's
ambiguous. It's like, well, it's 0.08. And it's like, well, I don't know how many, like, all right, so is that one vodka and two fucking Schlitz, or is it,
yeah.
two vodkas and a IPA? Like, we should have that sorted here.
Yeah, I think in Australia it's actually 0.04. It might even be lower now. It really is to the point where you have a glass of wine or two for dinner, and you've really got to be careful. The other thing that's quite interesting is that any traffic stop, at least in the cities, is a automatic breathalyzer and potentially a drug
Wow.
swab inside the mouth. Yeah.
So that includes marijuana, anything that's in your system.
Yeah, marijuana and meth, I think, is what they can test for right off the bat. Look, I haven't been back
Oh,
in.
I mean, same thing, basically.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's equivalent according to some people. But yeah, no, it's really fascinating, and and I understand all the pros and cons of having strict drink driving laws, of course, but it's to the point where you got a lot of people spooked, and then it's a little different over here, as you well know.
Well, how long? Okay, so I'm not going to go through the whole rigmarole of how we met. We met through a mutual friend who I've known for over 20 years. You met him recently. We bonded. You play music.
Mhm.
I think you're fucking cool as hell just because you're not from Lafayette, Louisiana. But when did you move from Australia to United States, and how did that happen?
Officially, we moved. Well, I moved in basically the start of 2015, I think. No, let me screw this up. Yeah, I think it was 2015. Um, and then I'd previously been traveling to and fro about 4 years prior. I first came here in 2011. I met this
Here
girl.
to Lafayette?
Yeah, yeah, actually, yeah. 15 years
Dude, you're
ago.
a fucking sicko. Look at you plotting for fucking over 20 years, 15 years.
15 years, yeah. Yeah, yeah, it was, look at the time, I was keen, I was, coming here and traveling, and then I met this girl, and then, we sort of started dating somewhat
Wait,
internationally.
back. Did you move here because of the girl?
I traveled here just for music tourism, essentially, and the love of travel and seeing what this place that had been the cultural sort of zeitgeist for some of our family and you know, for everybody back home in general. And then while I was here, I met a girl at the local Cajun music hall, for lack of a better word. It was a lot of Cajun music at the Blue Moon Saloon at the
Blue Moon,
time.
I played there last night, brother.
Well, there you go.
There you
Yeah.
go.
It's still an institution. People still love it, and I understand why. I do have just a love relationship with that place. It's great. Yeah.
So yeah,
Sorry.
so
Anyway,
you've been here almost 10 years.
yes,
A
10 years,
little over.
over 10 years. This living, I would say, like definitely moved and sort of uprooted my life. But visiting for 15, or started visiting 15 years ago. Yeah.
How does your
Um,
family feel about it?
Good. I think everyone's on board with it except for mum. I think mum is she doesn't voice it, but I know she wants me back,
Oh
and
yeah.
that's yeah.
Dude, moms, like the good moms, they
Yes.
will hold on tooth and nail, bro. Like I'm
Yeah.
feeling it now too because I'm like I want to move to Seoul, South Korea.
Korea, yeah.
She's
Mm.
like, well, I mean, how would I see you? And it's like, well, I guess like through Zoom or
Yeah. And what's funny is, like, we've had, back when I first started traveling, Skype was still sort of in play, and I would subscribe to the Australia country, and that would cost me whatever, $8 a month or whatever, so I could have 120 minutes to call people. And we've marched on since then, and we've got these great phones that you can basically do video anytime, but we still call each other through FaceTime audio or WhatsApp or whatever. But we don't really do video that much. It's interesting. But every now and then, if I'm in the right space, I'm a busy man, so I tend to like to call people when I'm like traveling, whether it's for work or we're on a long road trip. I'll call someone then. Um, yeah, yeah, she misses me, and I miss her. Like, not having your mom around is very tough. Um, because that it's a two-way relationship. There's a lot of things that you can do for your mom, and there's a lot of things that your mom can do for you. All family members, really, but my brothers and sisters all have families of their own and kids, so they have a lot of commitments. But we chat here and there. We have a family group text that we get together,
So they're all
share photos.
still in Australia.
Yep, they all actually live. At one time, they were all living a couple miles from mum. A couple suburbs over from where we used to live as kids. And then my sister, she's moved out to the countryside. She's got a couple of horses now and a young family. She's my older sister, and my younger sister just moved out of home at 28, so a bit late to bloom. But no, she's her and her boyfriend had been going out for a year or two, and I think they just decided to get a rent house. So
Well, I should ask because most listeners don't know but one place in Australia. Where are you actually from?
I'm from Melbourne, which is
That's the one
prob-
place, or Perth, I
no,
guess.
well, most people would say Sydney,
Oh, Sydney, Perth, Melbourne.
Melbourne, and then there's Brisbane, and then Canberra, which is where the government resides, or the federal
I only
government.
know places based on where comedians tour.
That's right. Yeah. Well, that's all the capital cities for each state. Uh, I'm not even sure that's the correct term. The major cities. Oh, sorry, I was gonna.
But you're from Melbourne, and do you get pissed off when people say Melbourne?
No, no. I think it, people, when people read things, they have to make sense of it in their own language and their own accent. You can't besmirch anyone who wants to say Melbourne, because that's what it looks like on the page. It'd be
Or
like trying to correct
Lafayette?
someone speaking. Yeah,
Lafayette.
I still, I've said Lafayette, I said Lafayette, I said, um, I'm sure there's another way to say it. So I get corrected all the time. I think the funny story, like when I first moved here, my wife's mum was asking me like where I went on Friday, where I went on the weekend. I said to Manu instead of Mamu. So I
Ah,
said, anyway,
yeah.
yeah,
It's
you're
all
gonna
right.
screw things up.
You mentioned Rue. I don't want to, get into her whole personal story. She's not on the podcast to discuss it, but Rue, I've come to find out. I mean, I've known this before, but it's been brought up more and more during the World Cup. Rue is like it's like a boo term in Australia. Yes, or what? How does Rue? I understand kangaroos, but I've also heard like negative things about Rue, like you fucking Rues over there. Like what?
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with that. The population of kangaroos in Australia can be quite hazardous to your vehicle. So maybe and it's a very numerous animal, very cool animal, but especially in the countryside, there's millions of them. So maybe they're using it in a denigrating term, or maybe that's a recent thing that I'm not familiar with. But yeah, ruse sounds denigrating. What you don't want to be called in Australia is a dog. A dog is the
A
lowest.
dog? Really? Okay, so is that like calling somebody a cunt in England?
Yeah, well, we have the same word cunt as well, but a
Okay.
dog is in a lot of like I know in prison if you call someone a dog, that's a wrap. You want to fight.
Wow. So you call somebody a dog at 7-Eleven in Lafayette, Louisiana, they're just like, whatever, that dude's weird.
Wait, are you saying dong or dog?
No, dog. Oh,
Dog.
you're saying dong,
No,
Dong.
no, no. Dog. D-O-G. D-O-G. Sorry,
Okay,
it's
okay.
the accent's coming through. No, yeah, you don't want to call someone a dog. Um, it's funny. Yeah, it's just the little changes in words.
Just a little bit.
Little
All right, we're
bit.
gonna get off the whole US Australian thing, but I have to get my questions in just about the celebrities because I'm curious. I know you probably don't give two fucks about the celebrities coming out of Australia, but these are the people that I know and love: Jim Jeffries and
Oh
Chris
yeah,
Lilly.
Chris Lilly. Oh yeah, I actually, yeah, really love both of
Are
those
they
guys. Yeah.
legends? Yes or yes?
Jeffries is funny. I think he got more famous outside of Australia. I know he had a few big Netflix hits, and I'd seen him on the YouTube clips and whatnot. I think he's well known in Australia, but I don't think he really exploded there. Maybe he did. I like comedy, but I'm not. I don't follow it as intently as other people do. Chris Lilly, on the other hand, I'm not sure if he ever did stand up, but his claim to fame is his fantastic character shows. And
Yeah, Summer Heights High, Angry Boys. I mean, all of
yeah,
those. That
there's
is
actually another one called We Can Be Heroes. It
yes, that
was
was like the first one.
the
Yeah.
first one. And I think, it's almost like most bands' first album. I think that is just a masterclass in storytelling. And while it has some, funny things, it's really hard I felt too.
Yeah, it is
It's just
weird how you can get like actually sad knowing that it is a person portraying a character, but the storytelling is so good.
yeah,
Like
it's
I feel sad right now.
yeah. There's so many good characters in there that are just unbelievable. Yeah, he's a fantastic creator. Yeah, love him to death. He's unbelievable.
Well, let's go through the the trendy ones. Margot Robbie, Jacob, Elordi, Hugh Jackman, and Naomi Watts, whose or kids I actually taught when I was
Okay.
teaching in New York.
Wow. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, totally out of context, but Australian, by nature.
Yep.
But how do you feel about these other, Russell Crowe?
He's New Zealand. We claim him, but yeah, he's New Zealander. Um,
Okay,
Yeah, look, I think the Australian celebrities, most of them actors these days, but we've had some musicians as well. I mean, it's a thing. You sort of have to make a choice when you're in Australia. It's so far away. There's bands and movies and local celebrities in Australia that, for whatever reason, either tried to break out into Europe or into America, and didn't succeed, or maybe never had the funds. Who knows? It's a thing. You sort of have to send it when you leave Australia, and some people make it, some people don't. I yeah, I just get a good sense. Most people coming from Australia in the arts, in general, are pretty level headed, pretty honest or earnest. I'm not sure. I just, yeah, it's almost like a dumb patriotism that I think that our celebrities are nicer or whatever. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I like those guys. Especially the bands. I'm big into music. I've always been big into music. It's one of the reasons why I came to America in the first place. So I have a soft spot for any people that you know leave Australia and then try their hand at touring or breaking out into other scenes. Yeah.
Who are your two top Australian bands or musicians that people listening right now should go check out immediately?
So current bands that are kind of like still touring and stuff like that. And I'm late to this game, but King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, they're a jam-ish kind of band. um, they're great just for their output. As someone I struggle with actually putting pen to paper with some of my music and other things that I do, and they're just the opposite. They're putting out 2-3 albums a year sometimes, which is insane. Um, uh, in terms of other artists that you could probably still go see, we have um, a few bands, a few sort of undergroundy kind of bands. There's a band called Eddie Current Suppression Ring, have a really kind of sort of post punk rock and roll Aussie pub and rock kind of, well, maybe not Aussie pub rock, but yeah, kind of a post punk Aussie punk thing going on. They just released a new record, but their Primary Colors, I think, is one of their first records. They got some great songs on that. Honestly, there's so many good bands. Tame Impala, everyone knows him, and Gautier, all those years ago, somebody that I used to know. But all those guys, they play in bands and they have other bands, and it's all incestuous in the Australian music scene for the most part, I would say.
Dude, Gautier had that one song, but
Yeah, that's right.
people don't realize he had like a great album. Like he had
Yeah.
State of the Art was one of my favorite songs of his. And he has a great music video too for it, which is
Mhm.
but though I mean, yeah, there's so much great stuff going on. The real question was though, who's hotter, Jacob Elordi or Margot Robbie?
Well, they're both beautiful people, I would say. So it's really going to be preference. I've got a soft spot for Margot. I just think that all the movies that she's been in, she's just awesome.
She's a better
Yeah, I
actor.
really like her.
She's a better actor than Jacob Elordi. I think Elordi gets by on his looks alone and his height, even though I think he's like shorter than you, maybe. I don't know, but the whole
Oh,
point
I
is
doubt it. He seems, yeah, yeah. Well, I think she's probably been in more movies, so it's probably easier, and she's gotten some really good roles over the years.
yeah.
Yeah, no, she's cool. I like it. Yeah.
All right, so it's confirmed. You will leave your current wife for Margot Robbie. All right, I have it written down here. Um, you are drinking a beverage. What is your go-to lager?
um, I actually really like all of the domestic. When I say all, I said the beers that I like don't think about and just grab in America. Modelo now, and on the USA specific side, it's probably Miller Lite. But yeah, I mean, we have a few craft breweries around here that are popping up now, so I'll sample their lagers as they as if it's available or if it's on draft. I like domestic stuff on in cans, and then if I'm out and there's a pub that has a draft, I will get a nicer beer. Canebrake is a local one that's good. In Sunset, they just got a new brewery. They have some great beers.
Goddamn right. You're not a snob when it comes to
I don't think that's the place. I think that's something that maybe millennials, and I'm generalizing here, but I feel like we sort of lost our way a little bit. We sort of got sucked into the idea that everything has to be bespoke and crafty, and while it's good, to support other people doing great stuff, it's like it can be pretty expensive if you're going to do that all the time, So
Right. So you just turned how old? What was your
40,
last birthday? What is it?
40, 40.
40. So I just turned 41 a couple weeks ago. We're
Hmm.
about the same age. What have you, let's pinpoint, let's just put a little dab in every little part of what has happened in the last 20 years that you've noticed, whether it's politically, just interpersonal, worldly, some of the greatest and worst things that have happened that you can instantly think of that sort of come to mind when now that we're on the verge of a completely different 20 years than the past 20 years that we've just gone through.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's. I mean, politically, we're seeing a pretty decent descent into populism on both sides of the aisle. More so in America or the United States than Australia. Actually, in fact, I think you know I think that's the politics in America is having an impact in places like Australia. There's a pretty far right political party um, that's gaining a lot of popularity. And I would say that's emboldened by the same algorithms and the same social memes that are being shared in America. Uh, like populism and all that kind of stuff. It's usually it's usually gain from what not that I'm a history student or anything like that, but from what I can tell, it gains a foothold when there's a lot of um, I don't know, yeah, downtrodden people. I think that's part of what's going on is that people are feeling the pinch. Wages haven't been rising, inflation's been crazy, and so people are looking for answers. And I mean, it's a pretty old playbook that some of these politicians use to divide us. Blame immigrants and crime and race and other things. You know, so it's interesting. But that's really that's been going on probably since the dawn of time. But it has ramped up. I would say.
Yeah. And how
And
how
decorum. I would say
no, go ahead, go ahead.
no, no. I was just going to say, I feel like probably since the advent of 24 News, there's been this really descent into just ever increasing. Um, uh, I would say the dial has been turned up much past the historical average. For example, I mean, maybe some of your listeners might know this if they're in our age or older. But the news was on. You would come home, and the news would be on at 6 p.m. And maybe there was an earlier one at 4:30. But the nightly news, the main news program on TV, was at 6 p.m. Right before dinner, and slowly over time, that's the news has become a 24-hour entertainment channel instead of actually being news. And I think that's when it really started getting kind of just really just the trend has been like just you know facts don't matter, screaming over each other rather than talking and conversating. I do notice that in America that there's a lot of butting in. People will butt in the middle of your sentence, and not everyone. I hate to generalize, but I
I hate
think
to
part of that
stop you
is
there
this.
right now.
That's right. I'm bored with that. Let's talk about something else. But you see that on these news programs that that they just it's just whoever can talk the loudest. And yeah, I mean, yeah, you don't want people to waffle on. I understand it's TV, but at the same time, so that'd be the one thing that I've noticed over the course of our life is that it's just getting, you know, and maybe it's the fault of these internet companies and these algorithms that are just like, if you want to consume 24-hour news or any other content, the more time you spend on your device, whether it's your phone or your laptop or your iPad, you will get that content en masse. So for the if you're not considering that, you can quickly find yourself in a doom cycle or a downward spiral of just every, and these companies that they've been shown that just keep feeding you more and more intense content over time. It can be really retarding to your mental health and to your outlook and on life. I think there's a lot of doom in the landscape because of that right now. A lot of people don't feel like there's a lot of hope. Mm.
Yeah, I mean that's what the conscious and the people that are paying attention are feeling. Like I've always said, I'd much rather be dumb and happy than
Ignorance is
just
bliss.
just informed and miserable. So we have a couple minutes left here. Thank you so much for joining us. But unfortunately, I have to wrap it up with these two questions, and you
Okay,
have to
I'll be concise.
combine your answers.
I'll be
What's
quick
going to
on this one.
happen with AI, and what happens when we die? And I'm just
With
going to leave
AI,
it. Bye.
are you going? All right, AI. Yeah, I've been watching this for a while. There's an American intellectual but named by Sam Harris who called it, and not that he's like a computer science guy, but he is a neuroscientist, and he sort of sounded the alarm bells probably 10 or 12 years ago now with a TED talk, and it's sort of starting to come to fruition. It's really scary. I work in the electrical industry. We power these data centers. In my mind, we probably had AI, or at least different forms of it, for a very long time, and now we're just starting to see commercial and residential use of AI. But just like GPS and the intranet and these other technologies, they've probably been out for a while. As to the outcome of us and AI, what that looks like, it's hard to say. It could be 5 years, it could be 50 years. I think that there'll be it's going to be tremendously disruptive. It could be utopian-ish, and it could be dystopian-ish, just like all technologies. I think that there's probably going to be winners and losers. And then maybe a point where we make the wrong call, and or we listen to the wrong AI, and nuclear war ends up happening, or something crazy. I'm not sure. So I can't give you an answer. I can't give you an answer. I think just if I was you, hold on to your humanism, um, shake people's hands, have good conversations, get together physically. I think getting to in a room together, going to the pub, or if you're not drinking right now, go to the park, throw some bocce balls, go see a band, go support live music. And I understand money's tight. I think humans are about to get back to a big bartering, a big maybe even like keeping money out of a lot of things. Maybe money will become either useless or taboo, and you don't want to bring money into these things. Money's for
Yeah,
the people.
sexual favors for watermelons. That's
That's right.
back in the old days.
That's the original currency, maybe. So yeah, I can't give you an answer. I think it's very very interesting though. I haven't really adopted much AI into my life myself. I'm sure it's happening around me, but um,
All right, you got a minute to explain death and life
I'm
if you can.
no life that'd be long. I'm really it's I wish I was more spiritual than I am, but I honestly believe that um, until we have better evidence, I think the consciousness lives inside of the human physical form, and it's sad to say, but in a way, it's beautiful. It's when your body expires, your consciousness also does, and I think um, having an everlasting anything, the notion of heaven and or hell is to me horrifying. I think that what makes life good is that it ends, and that way you have to make the most of it.
Perfect. Perfectly said. And yeah, it's almost like, hey, all right, so maybe you don't go to heaven, you don't go to hell. Would you still sign up for this? It's almost like free
Of course
parking.
you would.
It's like, well, I want to go to the event. I don't want to pay for parking, but oh, I'll go to the event if I don't have to pay for parking. It's like, yeah, well, like what's the worst that could happen? Well, I mean, now that we've been here for 40 years, we can see yeah, there's some pretty horrific things that can happen to a human being born on
For
this
sure.
planet. And I saw some stat the other day that was like, you're in the top 10% if you have like $200 in your bank account, you can drive and you have a roof over your head. Like
Yes.
we're fucking killing it right now, brother. And
Yeah.
the fact that we all exist right here, right now, right here, right now, and you're here and I'm here and we're talking and you don't hate me, I don't think, and I love you. So we're good. And it's like, hey, what the fuck do we have to complain about except I guess who's making the decisions that directly affect us? And even then we can't even control that. So
Yeah, all you can do is vote and be a good steward.
que sera, sera. So
Hey, Sarah, for sure.
thank you so much, Reuben, for being on the show. It means a lot. I'm sorry I hound all of my guests to come on my show. Actually, I got somebody that asked to be on my show, which I was like, now I'm skeptical. But you came on. You're a great guy. I can't wait to see you again. And until next time, don't die.
Thank you, Jesse. I appreciate it.